Right. Kept you waiting, huh? Put in this cassette tape. And then, holy shit. And then we'll get ready. You know? Photosensitivity aside, I hope it's not a big deal for anybody. I don't think that's normal either. We're gonna move on past that. This looks uglier than I thought it was gonna be. From the screenshots. From the thumbnail I had made. Yeah. Hello, welcome to... which? Partie 1 or 2. Scroll lock 1. Invincibility, no. I'm gonna let it pass, I guess. This thing is loud. And I don't have to use the... I guess I do have to use the numbers. The Amstrad CPC is pretty much just one of those old keyboards with a cassette tape or a disc attachment. You know, this is what PCs were, personal PCs were back in the day, not a big old tower. Certainly nothing fancy. But would you listen to that music? Also, 1989, I think is what that says. This is the game screen. It's certainly pretty. I should probably stop trying to reply to you when you're right there, but yeah. Like I said, this is the game screen. I was surprised that it was going to be the whole monitor. Apparently not. This is probably made for one of those like super tiny CRTs you can kind of carry with you. But let's press 1 for play. I don't need to look at the keys. Jesus Christ. I'm losing it. Alright. You have one button, which is hit. And that's it. And there's a timer. And you can jump with the arrows. What happened? I look away for a second and I died. Alright. Well, they had to get their games somehow back in the day, and I did it again. And I guess this is something. I did it again. Right. Made the same exact mistake. I'm losing time, too. I'm gonna lose completely. Oh no, that's 800. Never mind. How am I supposed to know where these trees are? These chomping things. You know, certainly this could be a great game if it didn't look like this. Game's trolling at this point. Put in a name? No, thank you. Just move on past that. Game's trolling now. 1. I should probably press 3 just to get the controls, I guess, but I mean, I'm using a joypad. Or a joystick. I don't even know that they had those back in the day. For this thing. I don't even know who had this thing. This is probably a European type of product. These kind of things were pretty popular back in Europe, so it's no wonder it is giving me a headache. Interesting. Alright, shitty music aside, this game is trolling. I'm gonna get as far as we can, but I think we have 9 lives. I don't even know what that 9 means. I don't know if that's a 9 or a 5, actually. Or an S. If anything, it just means the game was so great that it can't run properly on this thing. So they have to lower the resolution somehow. I don't know, I feel sick looking at this scrolling. I'm not a big fan of low frame rates. But hey, your friends were having a NES or a Famicom, and meanwhile you're here. I forgot to jump. I forgot it was a D-pad button. It was up on the arrows, not a button. I think the music's been looping this whole time. It's never stopped. I don't know if that's worse or that's good. Anyway. I even named this. This is AMC. Astro Marine Corps. No clue what it's about. It had a pretty cool box art. That's about the coolest thing about this game you can probably make out. The only thing I do wonder is how games like this even worked. Past Zone 1. You know, I never forgot how they played on cassette tapes. I can't hit that, okay. I can't hit that. Interesting, alright. Am I gonna die somehow? Yep. I'm really willing to just skip this game. I've shown you about all I can. I know there's probably some codes as well. I kind of... No, never mind. I'm thinking of a different game I looked up. But this one's getting to me. I got a shotgun spread. You know, I can't imagine going to your friend's house and seeing them have Contra on an NES. Meanwhile, you're stuck here playing Astro Marine Corps on your CPC. To be fair, I don't think these were completely like gaming computers. These were all just computers. So that's about the only saving grace it has. Or redeeming factor, I should say. Yeah, welcome back to my ears shattering. Hey, the bullets actually go on the floor. They're not just phasing through the wall. That's actually pretty fun. I don't even know if I'm... Okay, solid ground. Yeah, I always wondered how games run on cassette tapes. I don't think anybody's ever explained that, ever. Because we never really went back to it, ever. Unless it's on one of these shitty old personal computers. Yeah, I'm really glad you can't see my face. That is precisely why. Why? Alright. You know, I should play one of those old Flash games. I keep saying that. But it's kind of hard to find one that would be fun to play. But looking at this bullshit just reminds me of Cat Mario. If you've ever seen that back in the day. I feel like that'd be fun to play. I'm making a face of pure... Remember that cat side-eye GIF I sent? It's something like that. But it was a very old Kaizo Mario Flash game. Where the whole point is that every step you take is a trap and everything kills you in the game. Alright, get me off this bullshit. Get a copyright claim from one of the Persona 3 songs. They keep labeling them as reload songs, but I'm getting them straight from the original Persona 3. I feel like it's a little useless to combat those. I don't really have a template for those like I do for Halo. And I'm pretty sure I'm not getting copyright struck, claimed by Atlas or Sega or anything like that, so I might as well just delete it. And yeah. Still continuing the combat and disputing all the shit that I can and deleting what I don't really have the resources or the exact wording combat, if that makes any sense. So I did remove changing seasons from the playlist. Hopefully I don't have to remove any more. And if not, we'll just listen to Halo music and that's the end of it. Or any other super old game soundtrack that really nobody gives a shit about. Like the X-Men Legends soundtrack that I've been putting in there. And nobody ever seems to know because nobody really played those games apparently. Except for me. Alright, time to move on to the Magnavox Odyssey 2. I believe this is another one of those European / Brazilian bullshit consoles that didn't really go anywhere, but they existed. So here we go, probably 80s. What it seems like. Let's go. If we were to co-op a game together, I think that'd probably be one of them. Oh my god. Select a game. Why is the audio bar like full? There's nothing going on in the background. I hope there's no deadly white noise in the background that's destroying your ears right now. This is some pretty shitty audio, anyway. Yeah, that audio bar is just full. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's gotta be some super low frequency that we probably can't hear, because I'm not hearing anything. I know somebody out there is freaking the fuck out hearing this. Yeah, this must be Atari time. Maybe not that early. This has more colors, more stuff going on than original Atari. I'd say this is like early 80s, probably. Now the sound... Well, what frequencies I can hear aren't disturbing my ear. Also, this is just a Space Invaders Galaga clone. Which is fine, you know. For a lot of these third-party, whatever the fuck consoles, you take what you can get. So seems to be infinite too. Well, this is the whole game. Got nothing to do with the Timelord, as the cover implies. And I'm assuming there's only one button. I don't know what that does. Probably an extra button that does scoring or something. Got him. Guess we'll never know. But you know what? Still more functional than Astro Marine Corps. But they're all old games. They're all worth checking out at least once. For preservation or for just experiencing it. All gotta play E.T. at some point in our lives. We like it or not. Anyway, this is the whole game. Great. I can guarantee you the next ones are gonna have more quality as we go up there in years. Although I think we kind of regress with the last console. But it's still more novel and beautiful looking than anything else. This is very, very sensitive. I'm not moving that fast because I want to. I don't even know if we're winning. I don't know if we're losing. There's not even a menu or anything. That's one way to tell if it's a third-party bullshit console from Europe. Something that probably didn't sell well. There's no menu, no UI, no title, no nothing. Sure, some poor English sap back in the day had fun with this. You know what? Good for them. And I say Europe, or Brazil, but I could be thinking of the Video Pack Plus as well. That was a Philips, but it's pretty much the same thing as the Magnavox Odyssey. Just different publisher, or I guess manufacturer for the same exact thing. Funny how lots of third-party, non-actual gaming systems did that back in the day. Like Philips. Or CDI. That's all I can say. I don't have all CDI games, they're not exactly lightweight. So we will be playing a bunch of more of those, but not too often. I don't want to run out of games for a console, never see it again. I also haven't gone back to revisit a console. I'll make a poll about that as well. See what we want to see again. I think we went on the PSP last time. No, we didn't. We went on something else last time. I don't remember. That's bullshit. Many plans, so little time. Hope you're having fun on Twitch. Alone. Honestly, all I need for Twitch is like, is it 25 or 20 followers? I think it's 20 for the partnership, which doesn't really mean much to me. And like 3 or 4 consecutive viewers, which is at 0 like most of the time. What a sad place to be in. But yeah, I can't win on YouTube with a bigger sub base. And I most certainly can't win on Twitch either. But it is certainly much more closer than the thousands of watch hours that YouTube needs. I swear the numbers never really go up, no matter what I do. Or if it's got something to do with collective brain rot. You know? You ever think that maybe you're like the only one that still watches full videos? And I love watching like more than an hour long videos. I don't care if the gameplay is like 6 hours long. I'm gonna sit there and just, even if I have to leave it on in the background, I'm gonna watch it. That's kind of what I signed up for. Otherwise, I'd just be skipping past, like, reactions, and which I also do half the time, but that's for, like, story-specific games, like Metal Gear. Not interested in watching the same gameplay I've been watching, like, 60 times in a month. Or watching the streamer talk to chat for, like, the majority of the gameplay. What a novel concept. Me talking to people, but still paying attention fully to the game. You know? I don't have to ask you what the hell is going on just because I didn't pay attention to, like, 5 seconds of conversation. Even if I am playing on auto mode right now, I'm not really... I wouldn't say engaged, but I was like, it happens. If I start streaming Halo, I'd probably clear the whole game in like an hour while talking to you, and you wouldn't even know that I'm not paying attention to what's going on the screen because it's all automatic already in my brain. But that's different. I know the game like the back of my hand. I don't really need to pay attention. Or like Overwatch. There'll be times where I'm talking to a group of people on voice chat, obviously. You know, I'm playing with a friend group, or maybe there's somebody else in the chat and we're all talking. Start a match, next thing I know, I'm like topping the chart. Get the play of the game and just demolish the enemy team. I've been yapping the whole time about the most stupidest shit ever. I think that's one of the best ways to, like... That's one of the best feeling moments. To be so engrossed in one thing, but still be able to multitask multiple other things. And do it well. I know I'm saying a lot of bullshit right now, but I hope it makes sense. Like I said before, yeah, streaming is more of a way to practice public speaking. I feel like I can go, well, I do go through most of the day without even opening my mouth whatsoever, just besides to, like, eat. And like I've said, I do have a problem with raising my voice in public. Yeah. So I try. I would like to see you ramble on a bit more. Maybe next stream. But yeah, is that why you don't... on? Is that why you don't talk in recordings? If anything, I find recording my voice to be worse. Because then I really am talking to myself. So either I'm going on long-winded rants about whatever the fuck, rambling about whatever's going on, or just narrating what my thoughts are on the gameplay. Jesus. This is so mind-numbingly, like, fun in a way, but it's also, like I said, mind-numbing. Because I don't know if I'm progressing or not. I don't know what's going on. When do I get to beat the Timelord? But yeah, appreciate the arts, whoever the hell is watching on YouTube. I don't know what compels you to enjoy something like this, but you know. I'll appreciate it anyway. Well, that's fair, I guess. Still, at least in my case, people might be more engaged if I had a camera on. I feel like that's kind of what the collective consciousness has kind of gone towards, unlike the old days of YouTube where it was just, like, no camera, faceless commentary videos. Or gaming videos. But I feel like people might be more engaged and might be staying on more if they had somebody to listen to, at the very least. That's why I try not to keep on so much dead air and try to actually, even if I have to narrate like a jackass, what my thoughts are, what I'm trying to do specifically, even if it's pretty obvious, like in Fire Emblem. I don't have to tell you how I'm playing or why I'm doing this, but I do it anyway. Not that you should follow my example. Obviously. Just an observation. But yeah, we are the exceptions here, so. I try to be real honest about anything. Yeah, but without sounding conceited. The things I say are usually just fact, unless I tell you I don't know for certain. But I'm certainly an exception when it comes to opinions and the things I like and don't like. How long are we gonna be doing this? You'll let me know if this is getting boring. Touch that power button up top of the Magnavox Odyssey 2. Company name that you probably never heard of because they're probably under. Yeah, my hearing's getting dull too, I know. Hitting these tomatoes coming at me. I think the end game for me, I'm getting off this. The end game for me would most likely be to have a partner, you know? I don't need like 2, 3, or like a whole group, a podcast or anything. I just need one person to do these and just, because, you know, maybe it gets boring getting my input on these types of things. I need somebody to get my references to bounce off of. No, not a romantic partner. That's what you were going for. Soda's already getting watery. Oh shit, I put the screen on. My bad. I didn't bring anything, but yeah, we're doing fine. Mayhem TV, MTV. I'm not gonna comment on that. I know y'all know what the Commodore 64 is. That's not like a secret PC or anything like that. Another game where they had to squish in the resolution because it couldn't fit on the actual thing. I think. But yeah, on that note, I don't know what kind of biological warfare I was subjected to, or I don't know if you're still the same, but I still have that weird cough that just pops up every other day. That's random. That never happened before at all. I feel like there was something stuck in my throat way more often than there ever was. This is also very goofy. I guess cute's another word, yeah. Yeah, let's celebrate these dinosaurs. Nice confetti emojis. Should be glad I'm not like TikTok and racing and thanking everyone for the galaxies or like the glizzies or the whatever the fuck they use for like the little 10-cent donations. It's a nice feature for YouTube, I'll give it that. Alright, get me in the game. Oh my eyes. I keep getting flashbang by games every time I play. Alright. Enter code at C32. I'm gonna scroll log this, because this is an Mayhem protection sequence. Using the Mayhem protection sheet, enter the 5-digit code by pressing numbers 1 to 5. Alright, I have the sheet with me, because I'm not a pirate. Alright. What is this? What is C32? It does say on the sheet, it is illegal to copy this document. So I hope none of you Blizz warriors are copying this document. Blue. What does that mean? One what? This is a table sorted by letters and numbers. This doesn't make any sense. C32. Okay, I guess this is blue. So C32 is very tiny. This is very hard to look at. Because it's a table that goes from 1 to 37. But horizontally it goes A through E. Like, this shit is too much. Hold on. C all the way down. If I had a pencil, I could pencil this in even better. Why the fuck did it have to be 32? Okay, so it's blue. You should look it up. This is a very nasty looking table. That's C32. Doesn't make any sense. There's no numbers. What the hell am I actually putting in? Okay, each square on the table is... You know what? I got it. That's a 4. Red. Still doing this? What? It is some kind of codec. Alright, it's the same quadrant on the table. I guess that makes sense. C32, that'll be 2. Green. I already lost it. Never mind. 5. Where did cyan? What? Oh, that was cyan. We're looking for blue. Why can't I backspace? Okay, I guess we're gonna do this again then. G20. Why did it have to be on the other side? G29. Okay, we got this one. That's blue. That's not cyan. It looked purple to me. Red? Oh, for fuck's sake. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. C5. This is the weirdest code I've ever managed. Okay, first is cyan. I guess that's how we're doing this. Yellow. Wait, that's a 5. Okay. 1, 1, 3, 2. There we go. Fuck you. Insert side B and press fire. Ah, shit. How do I insert side B? I have to take out the cassette tape? Or disc? I think it's a hard disk. Not a floppy. How do I insert side B? I'm gonna do some magic here. There you go. Rolls. Is there a change side? Like the Famicom disk system? No, there is not. How do I change disk? One of these is gonna... Oh no. Media. Oh, I guess we're not playing Mayhem in Monsterland. What if I've just pressed fire? Oh, it worked. I think. We're loading. That loads. I'm gonna check my phone. Whenever it wants to. I always get messages around the time that I'm streaming. But I can't tell if it's loading or not. If I press something. I guess we're just waiting. I read somewhere that these old computers, especially the Commodore and whatnot, had like a million years of loading. Could have been for a different thing, but it could just be here too. Because I played a game and I read about it and I was like, oh yeah, it just takes forever to load. It wasn't the game's broken or anything. That's just how they are. And thankfully I drank all the Dr. P. Now it's just ice. Usually I let it sit. The Dr. Pepper turns into water pepper. Which nobody likes. So, Magic Dust quota, Star quota. I think this has Game Boy Color port we can play. If this is a bust. But we're gonna be here forever. Let's sit in the break room here. June S, and then I don't know. I don't know what's playing. Let's see. Hey, it's the Covenant Dance. Anyway. I don't know, anything new? How's it going? Well, you can remember later, I guess. If you need a game, send me the name. I would think about torrenting as well, but living in the US isn't really the same, and it's not really that. I wouldn't trust it too much. Not when your ISP has all eyes on you at all times. Legal or not. Well, if you want to play something, just add it to our list and talk to me later, I guess. This is your job now. I think Castle Crashers is that like a more modern-ish kind of game. I feel like I would have had that on the 360 at some point. It's still loading, by the way. But yeah, I wouldn't mind a 1-to-1, you know? Still loading. And yeah, and on that point, on that note, I don't have it, so. It does remind me of early, probably 12 years ago, maybe more than that at this point. Castle Crashers, I mean. I have heard of Yar's Revenge. I haven't played a lot of Atari games. Now, no better than to ask me that. I can certainly make a top 5 list. Usually it's top of my head, but it's... Now it requires some thinking. I know Halo 2 is up there. It's one of those games. It's got to be a game where I can just put on and never get bored and just beat it start to finish and still never get bored. And be so immersed into it. So that's one of them. Most definitely, at this point, SMT4 or Apocalypse, one of the two. They're in the same band. They're kind of connected anyway. Let's see. Hard to think about it, honestly. This thing doesn't load by like 3 more songs or something, 2.5, but we're moving on. Maybe checking out the Game Boy Color version. It's like asking me my favorite movies, you know, there's so much stuff that I've seen and looked at and played. Even with music, I have so many saved to the point where I just forget albums and names and all that. I'm not very good at specifics when it comes to history, so. But I am good at knowing, like, general events and whatnot. I think I said this before, I can tell you all about any war in history, but I can't tell you exact dates or months or days, you know? Like, I'm not good with specific numbers and stuff like that, but in the general sense, I can't tell you all about it. I will ask you again at some point. I can't be the one on the spot all the time. But yeah, I believe this is Yell Dead Cell. Maybe not the remix. There is a VR remix. But I don't know. I have both. On that note, Metal Gear Solid 2 is definitely up there. Another game that There was a time when I still had the original Xbox. This was back in maybe middle school, or probably maybe earlier than that. I think it was probably earlier than middle school, if not the beginnings of it. Have these really cool aunt and uncle, and they had a friend who had a whole box of Xbox games. I remember for my birthday they asked me to just pick out 20 of them and just take them home. And one of those was Metal Gear Solid 2. I never even had the first one on the PlayStation 1. The Xbox came out in 2000, 2001. And I had it since it came out. I had the box and everything. It came with Halo, obviously. But yeah, I know the game like the back of my hand ever since. I bought it. An HD collection, PS Vita port, PC port, and what other shit. I like to think I grasped a lot of the concepts back in the day. I'm gonna quit this game because it's not loading, so I'm gonna open up the Game Boy Color again. But yeah, after subsequent playthroughs, the message becomes more and more clear to the point where you understand everything Kojima and the writers are trying to convey, which is great. Certainly one of the best written story games of all time. That we'll do a playthrough sometime in the future. I had fun playing Metal Gear on the Game Boy Color. I think that was one of my favorite playthroughs to do, even if I did suffer quite a bit. You just didn't see that because I edited all that out. Let's see. Can't spell. Monsterland. Nope. Mayhem. No. Like bugging? I thought there was a Game Boy Color version. Oh, well, I guess I am. Anyway. We're moving on to the next console. This one's a little odd. It's also vertical. Well, let's see. I think Kojima's like a more extreme George Lucas. He needs more writer's supervision. People to tell him no half the time. I'd be pretty interested in playing Death Stranding 1 and 2, but I just feel like it's so much shit going on that it's like if you took all the seriousness out of any Metal Gear and you're just left with goofy shit that really doesn't make any sense. Just for the hell of it. Alright, I thought this one was interesting. This is the Vectrex, which is using vector graphics, I think they're called. It's literally just lines on a screen. It's not like a CRT or something. It's not like your usual, what do you call it, lines going up and down on the screen. And the cool thing about this one is you had this overlay you would put on that came with the game, and it would give you like a specific UI for the game. So they didn't have to actually model or texture any UI or any menus or anything like that. Especially because the lines were... it's hard to explain. It's all lighting up at the specific points where they need to. It's not like I said what the fuck would that be called in a CRT? Vertically scrolling lines or something? I always forget things at the dumbest moments. But yeah. Like I said, rather than doing this whole thing like with the whole screen, it's actually just lighting up specific bits on screen. It's very interesting technology when you look at it. Also very rudimentary. I think a lot of early arcade games, like early games overall, were all kind of wireframe like this. If you've ever seen like super old, maybe Star Wars or something arcades before the 80s and the real pretty looking stuff. There's a lot of games for this, not too many. But I still think the overlay stuff, the little plastic you put on top is pretty useful, pretty nice and unique. We do have a fuel bar, and that kind of sucks. But if there's any audience suggestions for another old game, then I'm all ears. These are all the old games I had on my list that I didn't want to play one by one, because that would be pretty boring. We'd be here for like 30 minutes. Not a jackass. I'm not one of those people that makes like 5 videos on different things when it could have just been one long video. Just to stretch out my non-existent monetization. Okay, I'll take any suggestions for a game, as long as it's old. Because I'm not changing the title. You know, I don't think there's any Tiger Electronics emulation. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. I don't think anybody would want to do that to begin with. Maybe a Game & Watch. I have to look for that. No, Nintendo, they probably don't exist. So, go figure. There's even a pause. No, there wasn't. I'm stuck. Basically. Holy shit. And I say that because, you know... What the fuck is this? Because, you know, my chats do reset sometimes, so when it resets, it goes back to, what's it called? Top Chat, and Top Chat is automatic moderation, so anything you say is looked through by an AI. And if you say even the most remotely non-offensive thing like dum-dum or something, it'll automatically think it's like negativity and block the message, so I won't be able to see it. It did it again just now, great. Oh, I did it twice, awesome. Oh, there's player 2 on this. I already know what we're gonna play next. Some Vectrex games. But yeah, as boring as it might seem, I do find it super enjoyable and interesting to look at videos and just experience for myself how a lot of these games kind of work. It's so weird to see something like this. I've never actually seen any wireframe consoles or games before, other than like super old arcades that I just thought were kind of old. But yeah, we can try Frogger. Maybe a different version that I haven't played before. I'll have to look around. Maybe I can suffer on the Atari or something. Okay, those give fuel. There's no way I'm gonna make that. I got a cough, as I was saying before. Not a pleasant feeling. But yeah, I like to imagine you're kind of fucked without a lot of these plastic, like, overlays. Because how the hell would you know? What's what, you know? Alright, end. I'm gonna take a break. Open this on my bad, on my YouTube. Ugh. Now's the time that I need water, and there is none. I didn't get any. What did I say? I'm gonna make a poll on what console's next. I wanted to make a poll because I asked the question on the... Oh, you know what, I'll do that one first. I asked the question on the recording that I just made. I'm not really gonna get much answers because I don't think my audience is big enough. My engaging audience isn't that big, I should say. I know people see pretty numbers on the subscriber list, but it doesn't mean much. Those are all from like 20 years ago. Most of them, anyway. And yeah. So I'm gonna do that poll after this, and then wait like a week or something. Maybe by then I'll have the whole series like recorded. So yeah. And then after that, I'll just ask like which console you guys want to see next, so we can revisit. I don't remember what we went back to. We've been to the PlayStation, the PSP, the Dreamcast. My controller died there, or the fuel. Yeah. What else? I don't remember. And yeah, it's been a 2K sub since forever. It goes up like by 1 or 2 every month or other. So yeah, we'll see. It's also a way to go back to old games that I might have recorded or streamed with like lesser streaming capabilities, as you can tell when you went back to watch Yoshi's Island. The audio is super low, and the quality is just also super low. I would like to do another compilation as well, like end of the year type of thing. Pull up a Christmas game at the end too, but that requires me to download all the streams in high quality, edit them all down to clips that are not just stuff I've done already for shorts. I'm not just rehashing content. That was a pain in the ass. I know how I feel about listen to myself back and try to find funny clips. May or may not be existing. Very downer, I know, but it's not. I like to think people are watching for the games and not me. Oh. Great. Okay, that's about all you're gonna get out of the Vectrex. We'll come back to it at a different time. Nice controllers, though. I feel like I would have enjoyed having this at some point. Like 50 years ago, but whatever. Spending a lot of time on this screen, that's fine. It's supposed to invoke that feeling of being in a group at Junes and just talking, I guess. This is one of those X-Men Legends tracks I was talking about. I believe it's... I could be wrong. It's either the USS Arbiter action theme or... Yeah, I think it's that one. Doesn't sound like the X-Mansion prelude theme. Very underrated soundtrack. I believe the guy's name is something Schaefer. Doing a little tidbit. There was a Dragon Ball game once. The audio engineer for that one pretty much plagiarized like a bunch of songs from a bunch of different other games. And one of the X-Men Legends soundtracks was part of that. That's about the only recognition I've seen for X-Men Legends outside of like the actual game. But yeah. Yeah, Storm and Rogue are in there. I think Rogue is one of my favorite X-Men, besides Wolverine, but that's like... You're talking to childhood dreams here. Grew up with the old X-Men cartoon. It was such a great moment when that shit crossed over with the Spider-Man animated series. I was all over that. I can still hear the theme in the background, the main opening. If we ever play that on recording, even, I know the perfect intro for that. That perfect meme. Russian. What am I looking for? It said Frogger. I didn't see any other suggestions, so... Not going on the Sega Genesis. Not playing on the... I went all the way to the front. All this looks like it's going to give me a headache. I know we played Frogger 2 at some point. Played a lot of Frogger ports. I don't remember exactly which ones. I know we played Frogger 2 as well. That was decent, if I didn't know what the hell's going on. But here we go. Oh, God. Just like you remember. Blurry and ugly. You know, the music wouldn't be that bad if it wasn't so loud. Alright. That was a waste. What the fuck is that? Great. What? Alright, we'll try that again. We'll try that again. But yeah, the Atari is just blurry. Alright. It's probably the only blurry console I can think of. I think it's because it was one of the earliest ones, and it was just the way the TVs looked. I have an overlay I can use, a shader for an old, like, you know, those old wooden... the wooden boxes TV. If you want the even classicer, you know, hit the TV so the antenna would work type of experiences. You know, back when you could afford the Atari, but you still had those old, like, 60s wooden TVs. Thankfully not in black and white. Also, what do I do? You know. Great. No buttons. Should be pressing. At least I don't think so. Alright. Maybe I'm supposed to get the female frog. I think that's what it was. But it's still dumb. Never mind. Kinda what you had to do in some of the other ports. Collect the frog and put him in the back. Maybe I gotta go one by one. Makes no sense, but I'll do it. Already failed. No. Alright, I'm getting hot. This isn't fun anymore. Oh, great. Anytime now. Or not. Oh. Let's see. Any other game that isn't Atari? That was wrong. I don't even know what that number means. Oh, you know what? I feel like I'm super lucky. I never... The McDonald's little beep never got on my nerves. I never go into McDonald's. Since I was a kid, probably. So now I went in there once. In high school. Alone. Like 12 in the morning. It was 11, probably. And... let's see. I got an Homer burger and it was just full of bullshit, so I didn't really eat it. And then I realized Probably shouldn't be ordering this bullshit. But yeah, I'm looking for something older. The title's already old games, and the thumbnail doesn't make it any better. I wanted to get these games out of the way. There's only 2 more games in rotation. One's a PlayStation 2 game, the other one's one game I can just play on a bunch of different consoles, I guess. If you want, you can... Or you can join in on that, too. I think you can play it in 4-player, maybe just 2-player. Let's see. He said NES. What's some BS I can just put on? I'm really fumbling those letters now. Be that time of night. What's in the Famicom disk system that I haven't already played? I think we already played, what you call it? A Castlevania. Be my favorite genre. Alright, let's get it. Akumajo Dracula. Revision 1, mind you. So, it's updated. Alright, yeah, this is probably like 19